The Wreckers are a special task force generally composed of the toughest fighters the Autobots have. They tend to care more about bursting in with guns blazing as opposed to strategy. Due to this, the Wreckers burn through their roster incredibly quick, making death not uncommon. Often, they are called in when the chances of success are slim. Despite this, they've won more battles than they have lost. The team's most celebrated leader is Springer, though they also have vague ties to Ultra Magnus, and the maximal future will bring leaders such as Ape-Link and Primal Prime. The Wreckers are often associated with Autobots such as Roadbuster, Whirl, and the Jumpstarters, but when times get desperate, they will grab anyone. Predacons, humans, and even former Decepticons. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the history of the Wreckers. In Marvel UK, the Wreckers were Emerald Zeron's Special Ops Squad. They were responsible for the assassination of Tranus, who was a Decepticon warlord in charge of Cybertron at the time. In 1986, the team was sent to Operation Volcano, where they killed 10 of the deadliest Decepticons. Megatron soon called off the attack, but Impactor would end up being killed by a Decepticon. As he lay dying, he named Springer his successor. Later, the Wreckers were attacked by hordes of undead Transformers, including their former leader Impactor. Once the Wreckers were captured, the Autobot renegade Flame revealed himself to be in charge of reanimating the dead. The Wreckers managed to escape, and Springer managed to reawaken Impactor. They managed to gather enough weapons to destroy Flame's undead army. Impactor would then kill Flame and sacrifice himself to stop the reactor shutdown controls to save Cybertron. In 1988, the Wreckers would be tasked with defeating Galvatron. However, the time-traveling tyrant got away. The Wreckers vowed that they would soon finish the job. In an effort to reduce risking human life, Zeron created the Advanced Surveillance Unit, which consisted of Broadside, Inferno, and Sandstorm. The Wreckers eventually located Galvatron. His presence was ripping time and space apart. The Wreckers also played a major part in Time Wars, in which they formed an uneasy alliance with the Mayhem Attack Squad to stop the time-traveling Galvatron. The remnants of both the Wreckers and the Mayhem Attack Squad would form the Survivors. In an alternate future of 2510, the Wreckers killed the last Decepticon battle, signifying the end of the war. Regeneration One takes place after the Marvel US comics and does not include events from Marvel UK. After the war ended, the Wreckers accompanied Kup to visit planets affected by the Great War. Their first stop was Earth, where their ship was shot down by Megatron. The Wreckers would soon find themselves being attacked by zombie Decepticons, causing them to try and contact Cybertron. Unfortunately, they were stopped by Skywarp. Springer, Sandstorm, and Whirl would soon find themselves at the mercy of Megatron. Optimus Prime arrived with Autobot reinforcements and tried to reason with the tyrant, but Megatron executed Springer. The Wreckers would later return to Cybertron, acting as a security force for Hot Rod. Ultra Magnus would later coordinate a raid on Fort Sick with the Wreckers in order to apprehend Soundwave. Later, the Wreckers were sent to infiltrate Bludgeon's space operations. However, Bludgeon was aware of their presence and slaughtered them. Rodimus Prime then arrived and killed Bludgeon, saving the remaining Wreckers. The Wreckers also played a major part in destabilizing G-Axis' hub network when they returned to Earth. On Cybertron, Rodimus severed their connection with Primus to stop the Dark Matrix entity. This led to all Transformers dying out. In the 3H Botcon Comics, the Wreckers are a team formed by the Maximal High Council to keep the peace between the Maximals and Predacons. All of the Wreckers except Rodimus and Ape-Link were killed by Megatron's Viacon forces. These two eventually met up with Primal Primes and survivors from the time-lost Beast Wars. In time, Skywarp and Cyclonus were also welcomed into the ranks. They would play a major part in reformatting Cybertron, parallel to the events of the Beast Machines cartoon. In the IDW Generation One continuity, the Wreckers were founded by an Autobot named Threnody. The first time they were seen in battle, the roster contained Hyperion, Impactor, Valve, Piston, Rack, and one other member. Valve later left the team to form Squadron X, the Decepticons' answer to the Wreckers. Soon, Impactor would be arrested under the Tyrus Accord for killing helpless prisoners. Springer would then take command of the Wreckers, similar to the Marvel UK stories. The Wreckers would disband sometime before All Hail Megatron, but they would later reassemble in Last Stand of the Wreckers. Here, the Wreckers investigate Garrus 9, a prison that fell to the Decepticons 3 years prior. In the sequel series, Sins of the Wreckers, they are tasked with saving Prowl from Tarantulas to prevent the reignition of the Great War. In the Wings universe, which is continuity based off the G1 cartoon, the Wreckers were elite commandos led by Impactor. Centuries later, Alpha Trizer would reform the Wreckers with Primal Prime as their new leader. In Shattered Glass, the Wreckers were a team of mercenaries led by Rodimus. They agreed with the Autobot ideals, but they preferred to stay autonomous. This was until Optimus recruited them to fight alongside the Autobots. All of the Wreckers, barring Rodimus, would be killed in the Battle of Praxis Delta. In the Aligned continuity, the Wreckers were Council Guardians. Wheeljack would leave the team once Ultra Magnus became their leader. The Wreckers defended the Well of Allsparks while Optimus Prime traveled to the core of Cybertron. After Cybertron went dark, Wheeljack searched the galaxy looking for other Wreckers. He found Seaspray, though the Decepticon Dreadwing blew up his ship, killing the Wrecker. Miko would later become titled a Wrecker after killing the Insecticon Hardshell and saving Wheeljack. In Transformers, Darkman and the Wreckers were 3 engineers in charge of caring for their ship, Xanthium. Later, they participated in the Battle of Chicago. In Age of Extinction, Leadfoot was killed by the anti-Transformer organization known as Cemetery Wind. In Transformers: The Last Night, Topspin was given sanctuary in Cuba alongside Agent Seymour Simmons. And that's the history of the records, from comic book cage to the big screen. Who's your favorite record? Tell me in the comment section below, and until next time.